This is Robert Merdlacci, the Mindshare Learning Report, Canada's Learning and Technology e-magazine. And it's great to be back from Victoria, BC, where I attended the ERDI conference where industry and education leaders connected from across Canada to share and learn from each other. Phenomenal learning. And here we are today for our Secrets of Success podcast, featuring second prize award-winning educator in our Schools of the Future Student Invention Challenge, Dean Vendramin, who is an educator at MC O'Neill Catholic High School in Saskatchewan. And they were, again, the second prize winner last year. Congratulations, Dean. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Talk to me about let's work backwards, like on a cooking show where they show you the finished product. I remember one of the favorite shows that I had of all time for me growing up was the Galloping Gourmet. And they'd always show these incredible dishes at the start. This is what you are going to make today. And it just whetted my appetite. And paint a picture for us on, and I have the video actually that I might play while you're speaking about it, and the inspiration behind the contest and your amazing students and what they did.
Well, sure. Yeah, no, this was the second time we've been honored to be, part of the contest and be honored to win second place, which has been phenomenal. And the kids were just pleased as punch. But this project that we were lucky enough to be successful with last year, it actually stems from, again, a lot of times I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I go ahead and do it anyways. But we started a robotics class at our school. It's a Saskatchewan, has it as a curriculum objective. And this opportunity came across to create an EV challenge go-kart. So I said, yeah, sure, we'll give us a shot, because there's a lot of wiring and engineering. It hit so many STEM goals, and it actually hit right into what the curriculum objectives were too. So I thought it was a no-brainer. And so what happened with it is we were connected with what you were saying earlier, connected with industry. We were connected with a local car dealership, and we had experts mechanics, and we had expert body shop guys, as you can see in the video here, that were helping our students learn like real life and real practical skills. And so a lot of the theory you're learning in class and stuff we're able to do in here. But it also attracted a couple students that weren't in the robotics class, that were just car enthusiasts too. So I said, yeah, come on and be a part of it. So as you can see, the kids had hands on. So the goal was to remove, as you saw in the video, the gas powered go-kart, to get that gas part off. And then with the help of the technician, who was fantastic, and the kids learned so much, we designed, like a holding case for the battery. And as you can see, we had to do a lot of work with that. And then we brought in an engineer who actually was a former O'Neill Titan, which was amazing too, that helped the students with the wiring and getting the motor working and all that. And then the kids got to go and race the vehicle against other schools at a, like, it was a parking lot at a mall and stuff, but they had a blast. But part of the work too was that not only did they build it up, but they had to give a report, and that was part of their grading stuff too. So they had to talk about their learning process and that too. So there were so many wins, and we had such a great time that we're doing it again. So actually, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we're racing it again, and the kids have been working on this time a couple other things, like fixing the brakes and a couple of other things on the go-kart, and it might become an annual thing with us, which is just fantastic, and the kids are just ecstatic to do this.
And kudos to you for taking the leap of faith and embarking on a journey like this, because it isn't easy, and but it's transformational for kids, isn't it? I'm no doubt there are some budding Elon Musks in that group. I know we sponsor a first robotics team, FRC 1324, I believe it is, out of our co-working innovation center. And some of these kids have gone on to study engineering and, working for Tesla and Google. And it's about planting the seed and helping them discover their passion, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Well, even like what you're seeing right now, it was we also added the A in STEAM, which or STEM, which is STEAM, and we had
Yeah.
one of our student artists go ahead and design some things. So yeah, there's a lot of great things. Like you can PR this, you can do a lot of amazing things that give kids, skills that they can put on a resume. And yeah, like
And
you
there
said,
they go. And
yeah,
so this was an electric go kart that
yeah.
was formerly gas powered. Sky's the limit when they see, it. Talk to me about the importance of like the mindset, the problem solving skills mindset, which is essentially the growth mindset.
Yeah, definitely. Like, sometimes like you just gotta give them that spark to go a little bit, right? And this show that like with this, we made a lot of mistakes when we were building, but the mistakes we all learn from. And I think that was super important too. Sometimes students feel I don't know what happens in school sometimes, but sometimes we thwart students' curiosity and we also kind of make them think that mistakes are bad. Where something like this, mistakes were good. They were learning experience. We found how not to do something, which is just as important of how to do something, which I think the kids really got a blast out. And I think too, to see that they weren't being punished if they did something to their vehicle and it didn't work. They just, okay, let's try something else, which I think really promotes the growth mindset that these students
Right.
gain. So I really was super impressed. And it's just they use so much like math and engineering and stuff that they didn't even realize it. It was just organic and it was beautiful. So
Right.
projects like this really, I love them. I didn't know what I'm doing. I'm not really a car person, but I learned so much too. Like I was right in there with them, like, oh, what's going on here? So I think teachers have to have a growth mindset as well.
Right. And that notion of co-learning, right? I don't necessarily know. So it's very unarming to students when you show a little bit of vulnerability as well, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, that's but that the vulnerability I've shown throughout my career is just I've had such an amazing career because I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Let's throw some mud at the wall and see what sticks, and it's I think that's what we need to do as teachers as well, is we need to be innovative and we need to be
So
risk takers
what
as
is
well.
it about Saskatchewan? You got the Couros brothers. We've had past winners in the Schools of the Future Challenge. You know, Professor Couros at the University of Regina is runs a phenomenal EdTech program, their master's program, and really every teacher should be, when it's pre-service teacher, they should be getting some of this knowledge, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in Saskatchewan, we're really blessed. We have, I don't know, maybe it's just because we're a little smaller and it can grow community a little bit easier that way sometimes. But I just,
Right.
yeah, I do think that, it's getting more popular at the university too with pre-service teachers to make sure they understand not just here's the hardware and software, but how do you actually integrate it in there? How do you meet your outcomes? How can you differentiate your teaching? All those type of things. So, because I think a lot of pre-service teachers are good at maybe using TikTok and that type of a thing, but maybe they haven't made the
Right.
connection because they weren't probably taught that way either, right? So now they have to think about, well, how do I actually harness this amazing power to innovate and make sure students are getting the most out of it?
So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the orange shirt. That we celebrate Orange Shirt Day. Every day should be Orange Shirt Day, but you celebrate it every week.
Yeah, at our school, in our school division, we're committed to TRC and the 94 calls to action. So at our school, every Thursday is Orange Shirt Day. We smudge every Thursday morning. So after we're done this call, I'm going to head her to school and have a smudge. It's a great way to start the day in a good way. And we're really committed. At our school, we have a program called FTV, Following Their Voices, which is a Saskatchewan-based program. And it's been around for a couple years, and we just started it this year, where we're trying to really work with our Indigenous students and really make a conscious effort and an intentional effort to make sure our Indigenous students are having good experiences and keep them in school and help them find their path and really recognize different ways of learning and Indigenous ways of learning. So it's really positive. And in a half a year and a bit that we've been doing the program, we've seen some amazing stories happen already. So very encouraging, very proud of our school division and our school for doing this.
Well, I'm very proud of all the work that you do, Dean, and your growth mindset and passion for making an impact on student learning is really about igniting their passion and finding the best in every student because every student has gifts, don't they?
Oh, definitely. That's the thing that keeps me going. I don't know. People say, "Oh, like I've taught for over 25 years," and I don't know. It just seems to be a blur. It's been fantastic, and the kids keep me going all the time, and that's why they inspire me. So it's just kind of infectious. So I just try to give them opportunities and try to get out of their way. There's a lot of great opportunities, like you guys offer people great opportunities to
Thank
do
you.
something different, and I appreciate that. So thank you, and that's
Thank you.
and the kids deserve it. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, we were talking off air about the notion of getting beyond pockets of innovation. We've been talking about that a long time. Talk to me a little bit about the inspiration you got along the way, because you don't just suddenly become a tech savvy, educator in infusing some of these cool, project based learning experience for students.
Well, I don't know. I always go back to my parents. They were my best teachers that I've ever had, and they're both immigrants to Canada. And just to see how hard they worked and they tried and what they did, always,
Amazing.
inspired me. And I just kind of, when I started teaching, was just kind of the start of like the internet being involved in schools and stuff. And I just kind of came in, and I was lucky to be an early adopter and an early innovator because I always, dabbled, even had an Atari and a Commodore 64 back in the way, and I was always encouraged to try new things, even from my own parents. So that's kind of where that came from. And
Right.
then as I went, it just snowballed, and I'm just saying, like, this is awesome. Let's go.
Well, I'm going to share a little history now that you mentioned just getting on the internet. We were just getting on the internet at York University. I was running the University Business Alliance, and our chair of our board was good friends with Kevin O'Leary, then the founder and president, CEO of the Learning Company, Reader Rabbit Products, Kid Picks, Oregon Trail. And when he mentioned they were launching a Canadian division, I said, I think I'm passionate about learning. I think that technology is the future. That's all I knew about technology. We're just getting on the internet. And I got the interview for, country manager and launching the Learning Company School Division startup. And that was my segue. That conversation, that showing that interest led me to making a TSN turning point pivot that changed my life.
Yeah, no, I can have similar. That's the thing. Sometimes
Right?
timing is everything,
So
but
so you
you have to have
you
that
have to
mind.
show
Oh,
curiosity,
yeah,
right? You have to show that curiosity and express an interest, because many of the jobs I got over the years was through showing an interest and volunteering
yeah,
to
no,
build
and
your
that's a
skill
growth.
set.
That's a growth mindset that you mentioned before. Actually, I just had a gentleman come in from Regina Trades and Skills talking to my workplace math guys, and he said there's four things they're looking for. One was to be on time. The second one was to have a good attitude. The third was to have a good work ethic. And they had nothing to do with like, do you know how to do your math? They're all like things that
Right.
you can do. It takes absolutely no skill to do that. You can make. And then the fourth was skills. But yeah, to have that open mindset and that work
Yeah.
ethic, it takes you places.
Well, such an inspiring conversation today. Talk to me about the prizing you got, and I know more is coming. What's the impact of winning the contest been like? Because again, it's not your first rodeo; you've won before. Talk to me about the inspiration and maybe tips for teachers who are thinking of venturing.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Then thank you again for all the opportunities you've given our students. Sometimes there's still a bit of a digital divide, and to some of the, especially the laptops we have, like even we've had some students come in from the Ukraine, for example, lately with everything that's going on. So we've had some extra devices to borrow and lend out, and I even gave one to a student, but just so they would have something to work with and that type of a thing. And then classes have been using it. Really like the audio from front row. That really works. And actually, we sometimes use that in our esports thing as our announcing that, and so it's kind of fun that way too. But yeah, no, it's been great to have the hardware and stuff. We've put it to great use, and the students have really
Awesome.
benefited from it. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
Talk to me about the importance of putting yourself out there in the network. So, part of this is, it helps build your community, puts you out there. Case in point, Esports Canada, Melissa Burns, who started that, was a past winner as well. And the community and being part of a PLN and leveraging Twitter and other tools.
Yeah. No, that's, I used to kind of feel like an island unto myself, going back to what we were talking about before with, me getting in. I kind of always, felt that way. But yeah, now with Twitter and all that, it's great to connect. There's a lot of great ideas, a lot of amazing people that just inspire me and keep me going too. So even on days when you kind of scratch your head, like, what am I doing? You kind of have that community to kind of fall back on, which is, for me, it's been, fabulous. So there's a lot of great ideas out there, and people are willing to share. And it's just a great community, and that's what we want to instill in our students too, right? We want to get that atmosphere of collegiality and working together. We're not in silos anymore. You need to be able to have those skills where you can interconnect and take ideas and do different iterations and all those good things. So I've been lucky enough to be smart enough, not very smart sometimes, but this time I was smart enough to realize, like, hey, there's so much power and so much energy there that I got to tap into this. It's just phenomenal.
And surrounding yourself with smarter people and smart students. I have students that are on co-op programs and internships here at our workspace, and they help me solve problems, and they bring a different lens to the equation. And one of them, we had issue with space and moving desks around, and they solved it for me. So giving kids agency, talk to me about the importance of that, because that really speaks to how you won this challenge.
Oh, definitely.
Because
Like,
if you were the one that was architecting this electric car transformation, I don't think you would have got there.
no, we might have been going in
No
reverse.
offense.
No, no offense taken. No, no, I know. But that's the thing too. That's why I did it, is I like to learn it. But yeah, like I said a little bit earlier, sometimes you just have to have an idea and just get out of the kid's way and be their cheerleader and be in their corner and that type of a thing. And it takes a risk. I know sometimes teachers like to have control.
Yeah.
Like you want to know what's going on but sometimes, sometimes I've done some things and then they failed, but that's what we want to teach our students too. If you fail,
part
well,
of
you learn.
part of the
Yeah,
journey. And speaking of
exactly.
the journey, our schools of the future student invention challenge. We infused the invention piece this year because innovation is kind of esoteric and means different things to people. I think this kind of nails it, if that makes sense, Dean. And
Definitely.
having the teachers work with their students and teams or as a whole class to enter and win aligned with the sustainable development goals, and empowering a sustainable future through the UN sustainability goals and challenge based learning. And I think there's no greater way to engage kids, and you're doing it every day. And kudos to you for all that you do, and for your support of what we do. And I certainly think we need to do a regular podcast here. And I know you have one, so let's do a commercial for your podcast, because we want to share that too.
Well, sure. Yeah, no, I've been lucky enough. Like, I also teach math, and we're doing something in our math class called the Thinking Classroom by Peter Lidgehall. Like, phenomenal. Like,
Right.
it's getting across Canada and across North America for sure. But Peter's based out of like Simon Fraser University, and his work is phenomenal. It's just about getting students more engaged in their learning. So it's giving them tasks, getting them out of their seats. Going up to whiteboards and solving tasks and then consolidating knowledge. So myself and our numeracy coach, his name's Kyle Webb, and another amazing teacher, her name's Megan Giroux. The three of us are doing a podcast called Think Think Thunk. It was formerly called RCSD Thinks, but we're trying to expand a little bit. So we just talked to teachers that are using the thinking classroom in their rooms and how it's
Brilliant.
benefited and what are the trials and tribulations. And we're trying to grow it. So that's why we changed our name a little bit. So yeah, we're on Spotify and Apple. So if you go Think Think Thunk, or RCSD thinks, yeah, you might be able to find that. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show, let us know. But it's just about having a good conversation like this, and these always inspire me. So
Well,
I get
I'm
I get a lot
happy to
out of
be on your show anytime. So
it.
do
Great.
invite me.
Well, we will for sure. That'd be
And
awesome.
they can find you on Twitter. You've got a vast Twitter community, and they can find you on Twitter at.
Yeah, at Vendi55. So VENDI 55. It's what interesting that happens when you're one of the first times when you're picking your Google thing. I don't know if, when you're picking your name and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of what happened at the time, but it still works. Vendi55.
Well, with that, Dean, I know you're just getting started at school, because it was a 7:30 start to your morning with this
Yeah.
podcast. Grateful for your time
No,
and
thank
sharing
you.
tips on winning our Schools of the Future challenge last year. inspiration and insight on how you engage your students to thrive on a daily basis. So kudos to you for all that you do and winning last year's challenge. That was Dean Vendramin, educator at the MC O'Neill Catholic High School in Regina, Saskatchewan. My name is Robert Martelacci of the Mindshare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.mindshare Learning to get your latest issue and to enter our contest by May 19th, midnight. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, Dean, with your kids and family, and keep the learning curve
Yeah. God
steep
bless.
as always.
Thanks. Always a pleasure.